Good morning. My plan for today is to can up some chicken soup. Bowl recipe calls for 3 cups of diced cut up chicken, or for half recipe 1.5. We'll see what I can get out of these breasts. If I can get 3 cups, I'll do the full recipe. Otherwise, I'll do half recipe. Also, I'm going to use the carcass to make the broth. And I need 16 cups, so we're going to do a full recipe. If I can't get enough, I got some stirred broth too. I can use that if I have to. So anyway, I got to get this cut up into cubes and see how much I got. See what we got here. Pretty close to 3 cups. So I'm going to go with the full batch because after I take stuff out of the jars, I'm going to want to add noodles, so I won't want it too full. Anyway, okay, I'm going to put this in a bag and back in the fridge. Okay, now I want to get all this stuff into the pot. Every last bit of this good stuff is going in there. Get some gelatin formed. Definitely going to go in there. That's what forms your stock, or the main part of it. Break that up. I know you couldn't see that, but anyway. So now I got cleaned out of there anyway. There. Okay, now if I look at ball stock recipe for making stock, they say to use 16 cups of water is going to give you 16 cups of stock. I can't see how that's going to happen. I need 16 cups too, because that's what the soup recipe calls for. So I'm going to add a little more because I know it's going to reduce itself while I'm making the stock. So 16 cups is 1 gallon. And I'm just going to add another 2 cups. It'll reduce. Been here with the turkey stuff. Okay, and I'm only going to use half as many of the vegetables as they say, because I'll be putting them into the soup as well. I don't want to overdo it with the vegetable flavor. And 1 tablespoon of kosher salt again. That's a tablespoon of salt. Especially not when you're going to can it. If you're just making soup, I guess you could get away with it. Come on, get out of there. Always something. Every time I try to make it film something screws up like this. That's why. Okay. And they call for peppercorns. I don't have any. I'm just going to use a tablespoon of pepper. And I didn't need quite this big of a pot. I don't think the next size smaller I got, maybe a little too small. So anyway, guess I'm going to go on the stove with a lid on it. I'll bring it to a boil, and then I'll bring the heat down and just let it, I keep saying that it's gentle boil for hours on end, actually. So anyway, I'm going to go. Here's what it looks like in the pot. I'll put the lid on. I don't want to lose soup. Oops, wrong lid. I'm going to get a different lid, but that's, you get the idea. Okay, that's boiling, so I'm going to bring the temperature down a little bit. I want to keep it at a gentle boil. I don't want to really boil. And hopefully that's about the right temperature. Put the lid back on. I'm going to stir it every once in a while. Maybe a little hotter than I want it. Turn it down just a hair. I'm surprised how fast that's coming along. Remember right though, I don't think the turkey took very long either. Okay, Ball says 2 hours is enough for stock. This has been 3 hours and it's looking pretty good. I just turned the heat down a little bit. That's okay. But yeah, the carrot is nice and soft. The meat's falling off the bones. And the stock tastes like stock. So I'm going to strain this. I might have got away with my 1 gallon pot, but I don't think so. It's just dirty if I did. Anyway, we're going to let that sit and drain and cool so that I can remove the fat. Okay, this has been sitting in the fridge overnight, so I'll skim off the fat. Don't have near as much fat as I would have thought. Got a lot more out of that turkey, that's for sure. But anyway, we'll get it skimmed off. You don't want the fat in here. Or as little as you can get, I should say. You're not going to get mad if you skim it all off, I don't think. Or I'm not, because I'm too lazy. Okay, so I'm putting in the pot the 3 cups of chopped chicken, 1.5 cups of chopped celery, 1.5 cups of sliced carrots, 1 chopped onion, and the recipe calls for salt and pepper to taste, so I'm going to try 1 tablespoon of salt and 1/2 tablespoon of black pepper. I measured it out and I got 15 cups of stock. I added 1 cup of water with 2 packs of bouillon just to make the 16 cups that the recipe calls for. Okay, I got this boiling. I turned the heat down. I'm going to simmer it for half an hour and then we'll go from there. Okay, I tasted some of that. I'm going to add another tablespoon of salt. Not bad, but I think that's what I think 1 more tablespoon would go right for my taste. Everybody's different, of course. Give it a stir while I'm in here. That should be good now. Okay, that's been simmering for the full 30 minutes. Now, the bowl recipe says just to, oh yeah, I heated these jars up, by the way, in hot water. Another thing, don't try to heat these in the oven. You can do them in the dishwasher, but not the oven. If you read the Ball or Valentin books, they straight out say don't do it, because you can crack them. And I've got some water in here, I gotta get that out. But as I was saying, the book says, the recipe says just to fill out a 1 inch of headspace. I'm going to do is I'm going to, just so I have even amount of chicken and vegetables, I'm going to do half a jar full of each of them, and then I'm going to do the liquid. And speaking of 1 inch of headspace, it's hard to see, but if you look That makes it feel better. But you look at the very bottom here at the end of where your band is, it works out to exactly 1 inch. So just so you know, in case you don't have that little handy tool, you should have it anyway because you got a bowl. But okay, we'll get these jars into the canner. Okay, that's the only thing I don't like about this. It only holds 5 pints. That's all I got this time. Okay, my canner says 8 cups of water. Yours might be different. Go by whatever your canner says. Irregardless, so what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to let it exhaust for a full 10 minutes. And then you're for pints, it's you're going to pressure can for 75 minutes. For quarts at what was it again? Oh yeah, for quarts it's an hour and 30 minutes, so 90 minutes. So okay, so that's in there. The vent has got to be open. It's open there. Okay. Oh yeah, this says going to beep at me when it's time time to close my vent, which is the same as putting a weight on stovetop canners. So it's handy that way. I don't have to watch the clock. Okay, it started the venting process, the exhaust process on its own. That's what the E stands for. It's not an error. It means exhaust. It's 10 minutes and a countdown to 0. And it'll beep at me when it's done, and I'll close off the pressure vent. Okay, it exhausts for 10 minutes. It beeps at me because it wants me to close off the exhaust vent. So I'll do that. Once it gets up to pressure, it's going to start the countdown for the 75 minutes I got it set for. After the 75 minutes, it'll turn itself off. Then all I gotta do is wait for it to depressurize before I can get the jars out. Well, it finally depressurized, so now I can carefully open the lid. Always do that away from yourself just in case. They've been sitting in here in the canner with the lid off for 10 minutes now, so I can get these out of the canner. I always have to use tongs on the first lid. It's hard to keep a good grip on. But anyway, I got it out. So now I can use the proper jar puller. And I see I forgot to add vinegar to my canner in the water. That's why these jars are all cloudy. Okay, I can wipe them off later after it cools, like tomorrow. Great. It looks like they're all sealed already, but I'm not going to touch them. So as you can see, this is pretty thick soup. I'm not going to be able to put any noodles in this one. Maybe next time I'll just go to a quarter. And I would have had enough to make 10 pints instead of just 5 because I had lots of stock. But as you can see, as you've seen, it's not that hard to make, and it's way better than store-bought stuff. So hope you give it a try. I hope you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Till next time, thank you.